Are you ready?
Oh yeah, it's
Okay.
6
I don't
o'clock.
know if you gotta take a couple minutes to focus.
I can't focus on a given day, Kevin, we're fine.
Alright.
We're good.
Alright, it is 6 o'clock, so we say the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight. This is our annual special budget meeting. And before we have our actual meeting, we gotta have they call it a truth and taxation hearing. And so we're gonna spend the next few minutes just going over the budgets. And so this time we're gonna do a roll call. Becky?
Yes.
Matt?
Here.
Ken?
Here.
Doug?
Here.
Karen?
Here.
And Denny is absent tonight, and I am here, so. Okay, at this time, Scott is gonna go over our budgets with us.
Yep, and I do have copies for you at your seats. They are double-sided, so I'll try not to confuse you, but I also have it projected up on the screen as well. And Mrs. Copeman is here as well if we have questions that I cannot answer. She's here to bail me out one last time.
What about the firepower here?
So if you look at the first page there, that's going to be the amended budget for this school year for ending June 30th of 2022. We adopted a budget in June 28th of 21 that showed we were going to be under expenditures by $244,570. We adopted again or amended in January 10th. That showed also under expenditure of $117,820. And then this June 27th meeting, we're showing a loss of $315,110. Now you see that's fluctuated, and remember in June when you adopted in June, that's a guessing game. At that point, we didn't have a budget from the state. We didn't have any of that. We don't know our pupil count. So that one was a guessing game. December happened, or January came, and we saw a little bit of improvement, but now we see a little bit of a decrease again. One thing I'll point out to you is if you look at transportation costs, about a third down the page there. We started with a budget of $818,875. We increased it to $981,655, and then to $1,093,110. So we did have a lot of expenditures in transportation. That goes along with the aging bus fleet. We had some things come up on that.
Is that gas in there as well?
Gas as well, yeah.
Actually, we're on the operations line.
I was on the operations line?
Yeah. Transportation actually had a little bit of a decrease, but not, oh, wait a minute, no, hold on. Transportation operations, my bad, you're right.
Okay. Could you say that one more time?
Don't have to say that often.
So with this budget, you leave a fund balance of $2,232,981. That's about 17%, if I remember correctly. One thing to note too is this does not include our capital projects fund. Our capital projects right now is sitting at $609,530.
Did you say 609,000?
Mm-hmm.
And that, if I recall right, is that all unrestricted?
That
I
is
believe it is,
unrestricted.
isn't it?
Mhm.
All unrestricted, okay.
The board did vote to approve, I think it was $250,000, not to go below that
Yes.
at any time.
And we had put 200 and some thousand into
Correct.
that at the end of last fiscal year, was it?
At the end of the audit, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere, okay, all right.
We also believe that our budget's gonna be looking much nicer than what it is right now. At the end of the audit, we do have some money that we did not spend all completely from the line items, so we do think that it will be better.
Come in just after these are already done. that we weren't expecting.
So am I right that between now and the end of the state's fiscal year in September, do we still have another state aid payment coming for this year too?
July and August, yeah.
Okay.
Still have two.
So, and those are adjustment, the auditors accrue that revenue if
I've already accrued it.
you've accrued it into these numbers? Okay. So the salvation, if you want, from these negative numbers will come in the expense categories then, basically.
Right, because if you looked at like your budget lines or your columns and then what's been spent year to date and look at it, we're in the black right now.
Yeah.
But there will be some adjustments on the balance sheet side that usually the auditor comes in and does for me. And so if it's an asset, that'll add to to that, and if it's a liability, it'll subtract.
But you've
I think
recognized
overall,
those.
we will be in the black.
Okay.
Yeah, but
But you've recognized those state aid payments then?
we've already recognized
That's
those,
what I was
yes.
wondering about. Okay.
So the next page is our food service budget or amendment for 21-22. Started out with a total revenue of $683,765, and our expenditures was $656,020. So we will be adding to the fund balance $27,745, which will give us an estimated fund balance of $199,533. And Lisa, I don't want to put you on the spot. It's 3 months of operating expenses before we have to start spending down the food service
Yes.
fund.
Yes, yeah, and we will probably have to have the excess fund balance in there again this year because we were under what they called the summer option for food, and we got reimbursed fully, which was at the highest reimbursement rate they can give us, and we didn't have to collect any money from the children. So we brought in $645,765 in revenue from this, and that's going back to normal next year is gonna be a big chunk that's missing, because the revenues are probably up almost $400,000 from the federal side.
I thought I read somewhere just this weekend that
Debbie Stabenow's got another bill out there.
that was gonna be
It would help
possibly,
increase the reimbursement, but it wouldn't be as nice as this is.
okay. I thought I read somewhere where potentially the whole free thing was gonna be continued again.
They tried, but if they don't, if the federal government doesn't act on it by June
Okay.
30, it will not go through.
Okay.
Proposed budget for next school year, proposed food service budget shows a decrease in revenue. That's because of the federal funding going away and the reimbursements that Lisa just talked about. Also, we'll be charging kids for lunch again, so that could also decrease participation in school lunch and breakfast as well. So we're predicting a total revenue of $433,460 with $123,775 loss, with an estimated fund balance of $75,758. And again, a lot of that is still up in the air. We won't probably know until school starts what's going on with food service. Okay. Community library fund. They had a total revenue of $23,990 and expenditures of $33,995 for a loss of $10,005, leaving a fund balance of $67,107. And that loss there was due to, correct me if I'm wrong, but the furniture purchase to update some of the furniture in the
She's had a
library.
couple of big purchases that came in at the very end that I wasn't aware of.
So then our proposed budget for next year's library kind of breaks even, a revenue of $22,405 with expenditures of $21,500. So we have an excess of revenue of $905, which would put a fund balance of $68,012. Activity funds, Fund 29. This is our activity accounts for elementary, middle school, high school, and athletics. They had a total revenue of $239,488, with expenditures of $202,715, with an excess of revenue of $36,773, increasing the fund balance to $159,105. A lot of that increase was from athletics, correct?
I think it was actually across the board because we had a full year of participation and all activities going on.
More people attending games and. So our projected budget for the for Fund 29 has a revenue of $235,000 with an expenditure of $210,000 with a excess of $25,000, putting the fund balance to $184,105. And then next year's budget for 22-23. Now this budget was built off of this past year's school budget because we don't have any funds yet or any acknowledgement of what will be given from the state this year. So this one is over in expenditures than next year's is as well, especially with the contract negotiations and increases. So next year's fund, it shows a decrease of $416,794 in revenue, and we'll put our fund balance to 13.71%. Again, this is a quick blush of what it is. I do believe that both budgets will be in the black by the end of the years and once we have information from the state.
Okay, is that all you have?
It is.
Do you have any more questions for Scott?
I just have a question on the next year's budget for 22-23. Obviously, the big unknown there is student count and state aid, obviously.
Correct.
And those will be available in September sometime.
They're supposed to be. Yeah.
And, I mean, they're supposed to have it settled by October 1st.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
a lot of things grind to a halt.
Okay. I'm wondering, and typically the practice has been we amend in January. Would it be possible without a tremendous amount of work to, once those numbers are known, to maybe do just an informal update before December?
I think it'd be feasible to do by the end of October.
Yeah.
Probably the
I've always
first
felt
quarter.
that by the time you amend in January, if you have to make changes, a lot of the years is gone.
Right.
You know, the sooner we can know that, even if it's not in a formal, you know, when those two are, we just not have an informal update.
I would say an informal update, just, I mean, of course I won't be here, but I think I did one for you when you first came on because Scott wanted a better handle of where we were at that point in time. The problem with not doing an amendment in January is we get notified by the end of November of title dollars that, you know, so that everybody's in the pool or out of the pool, they take the rest and then they reallocate. And we had quite a substantial increase in our title funding at that time.
I'm not necessarily suggesting that we do a budget amendment earlier,
So
just an update,
like
just to
some
know,
kind
are we
on track.
Yeah, on track, or we can still do a formal amendment in January. I just think it'd be wise to have some informal update.
I
We
think
wouldn't have to do a formal amendment,
I
but
think that's very feasible. Absolutely. And I did use $435 per student increase. Liz Eastway, who's going to be our new business manager, felt very comfortable with that. Didn't think it was going to be any lower than that on this, and then also increased our student count by 20. And I did that because we graduated 56 students, and we have more than that enrolled. We have more than 76 enrolled in kindergarten, so it's still a little conservative there too.
okay.
But yeah, it would be very feasible, Ken, to do
I just
that.
think it'd be good to just
Oh,
know
absolutely.
if we're.
Trust me, I don't like looking at this number either. So.
It's hard at this time.
Oh, I know.
Because
I hear you.
there's so many unknowns. And
So the whole school aid, I mean, I know there was a House version, a Senate version, and the governor's version. Did we kind of hit that in the middle then, or? I can't remember which one was more anymore, but,
Liz felt comfortable with the governor's version, the $435 per pupil.
okay.
They all ended up being about the same depending on where they put money on line items.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. When we looked at the governors, the senates, and the houses, their forecast for McBain, it was greater than that number of what they were predicting for all budgets that were proposed. But that was a couple months ago too.
Yeah.
It's been pretty quiet.
Okay, anybody else?
And this does not obtain, or not include any capital outlay
No.
in any of the funds, really?
No.
It's become, okay.
The only, well, that being said, ESSER funding.
It does include the ESSER?
Yeah, so if we knew that we've got ESSER funding 2 and 3, we built in the revenue that we're pretty sure will be spent, and the expenditure also on those. So some of the, like, computers, that would be considered cap outlay, but it's all through general fund. So on the cap
Okay.
outlay side, that's a separate fund, that has nothing to do with any of this.
So when I see here capital outlay for $88,000, that's kind of what we might be talking about?
She must have that in the next year budget, I don't have that budget.
Oh, okay,
I didn't look
okay.
at that one.
Okay,
But if you have it as revenue and expenditures, it's gonna.
Yeah, we've
it's
got
gonna
it
be
as a
breaking
wash,
even.
yeah.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Anybody else? Have anything for Scott? Okay, thank you for that. Thank you, Lisa. At this time, we'll move on to public comment. Seeing none and hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support.
Motion support, and more discussion on the budgets. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We are adjourned at 6:16. Okay, at this time, we're going to move right into our regular meeting. Instead of saying the pledge again, I think we'll just pass on that, being that we just did it. Do we have any amendments to the agenda? Okay. We have a motion to accept tonight's agenda.
Motion.
Support.
Motion support, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, okay. At this time, it's time for public comment. Seeing none and hearing none, we'll move on to, we are going to approve our meeting in June that we had earlier this month. I did myself see one item on there that we should have at least fixed.
Okay.
The support contract, Matt abstained from that, but
Okay.
she's got his name in there twice,
Okay,
so.
thank you. We can get that fixed.
Anybody else see anything that?
I'm a little bit confused, I don't see what we're doing on the agenda.
We're approving the agenda from a couple weeks ago.
Agenda? Were you-
Probably
Or,
the
I mean,
minutes.
Our minutes.
I think that's a
sorry, my
typo
bad,
on
my
the-
minutes.
Oh, okay.
The minutes from our previous meeting.
Oh, okay,
It's a typo on there.
so we're on item 2.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, okay, I see, okay.
Yeah, I should say.
So we should amend the agenda.
No, we're approving the minutes. We did approve the agenda, except now we're approving the minutes of our previous June meeting.
Sure.
Anybody else see anything? All right, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion.
Support. Motion support, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, reports and communications, I don't have anything. Superintendent, do you have anything?
I have a couple items that I would just like to share with you quickly. We did have an arborist come out and view our trees in front of the school, and his recommendation is to take 2 of the trees down. They've kind of stopped healing themselves. And if you look at the trees, they don't look healthy. It could be a liability for the district. So we'll be looking at that, but then we'll also be looking at a replanting plan and a replacement plan for those trees. Those might not be done right away, depending on the needs of the districts, but we will look at replacing those trees. Second thing, just so you guys are aware, one thing that I've been reading on and sitting in webinars on lately is electric school buses. They do have some grants out through the Environmental Protection Agency for electric buses. So yeah, I'm just gathering some research on those and the pros and cons of the electric buses.
Some time ago, one of the districts up north made kind of a splash. Was that,
It's either Gaylord or Grayling
yeah,
or Gladwin.
was that
One of the
electric or was that
G-towns.
propane?
One did electric and one did propane.
Okay,
Mhm.
and it was a tremendous difference. I just wonder how that's going. I've never heard any update on that.
It depends on who you talk to.
Okay.
Sure, but no, it's been kind of interesting in the improvements that they've made to electric vehicles. Our biggest thing would be the amount of. I sat in one webinar, and it was a rural school district in Missouri, farming community, and all the schools in their area kind of coordinated charging stations, so that if they went to a basketball game, they could charge. Because your total allotment of miles is like anywhere from 100 to 150 that it can go on a charge. So that would make it different. I mean, so there's a lot of little nuances to everything and the reality of it. But I just wanted to share that with you, and hopefully we'll be sharing more information with you in the
Is
July.
anybody using them that you know
One of the schools, Gaylord schools, I think it's
Is that
Gaylord,
one?
is trying it, piloting it. So
Scott, just referring to the first item, how much was the cost to remove the trees again?
I think it was 2,100
Okay, that's,
removed, stumps chipped,
yeah, okay.
and debris cleaned up. Yeah, and that was with the Joe's Tree Service.
Mm-hmm.
He's been pretty reasonable for us, and did the ones at the preschool too. Preschool expansion's underway. Contractors have been working over there excavating, getting stuff ready to go. The new equipment's supposed to be in July 14th. That's the hopes. Not in, but delivered. How about that?
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, is that it?
That's it.
Okay, moving on to our action items. Action item A is to approve the 2021-2022 amended general fund budget and the 2022-2023 proposed general fund budget as presented.
So moved.
Support. Okay, we have a motion and we have support. Do we have any more discussion or questions for Scott or Lisa? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. General fund budget passed. Action item B is to approve the 2021-2022 amended library budget and the 2022-2023 proposed library budget as presented.
Motion.
Support. Okay, we have a motion and support to approve the library budget. Do we have any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. The library budget passed. Action item C is to approve the 2021-2022 amended Fund 29 budget and the 2022-2023 Fund 29 activity proposed budget.
Make a motion.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support for the Fund 29 budget. Any questions for that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that passes. Action item D, approve the 2021-2022 amended food service budget and the 2022-2023 food service proposed budget as presented.
Motion.
Support.
We have a motion and support for our food service budget. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Our food service has passed. Action item E is approve the hire recommendation of Troy Finstrom for middle school principal.
Make a motion.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Do we have any questions or?
And if I could just add that Mr. Finstrom's been administrator in Cadillac. He finished up his administrative certification, I believe, in December of this past year. He's been assistant principal there in Cadillac. Got really good recommendations and references and did an excellent job in the interview. Kids attend McBain schools and his wife teaches first grade here. So excited to have him once he's approved.
Okay. Did we get a motion?
Yeah.
Yeah, motion and support. Any more questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Troy.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
How are we doing on the other openings? Are there others? Where are we at with that?
Yep,
Just
so-
out of curiosity.
We have one more teacher to approve tonight.
Okay.
And that'd be for elementary. We had our elementary teacher move to middle school science, where she's certified to teach middle school science. And then we have another one that we're waiting on a letter of resignation from the elementary school. But we believe we have a candidate from our first round of interviews that we did for this. And then we have high school social studies teacher that's been posted. And that's replacement of Ben Niemeyer. We were a little heavy in PE, so we looked at creatively looking at the schedules and social studies and hopefully an English certification where they can pick up some English classes and alleviate a shared teacher. So we're doing a lot better than we were last year at this time.
Looks like we're looking for some coaching positions.
Yep, I believe
What I
cross
see in the
country
paper.
and JV basketball, I believe. That's what we're looking for right now.
Okay, moving on to action item F, is to approve the hire recommendation of Casey Quist.
Motion.
Support.
Motion and support.
Yeah, Mrs. Quist has been, children attend here, will be both next year. We'll have a young one in kindergarten. But she has been teaching out at Falmouth preschool in the GSRP program out there. Did her student teaching in Manton, and Falmouth picked her right out of there and asked her why is she applying now? And she said the time is right. It's the right time for her and her family, and she felt from McBain schools. So very impressed in the interview. She did an excellent job, involved in the community, and we're excited to have her.
Great.
Okay, we have a motion and support for Casey. Any more questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations to Casey. At this time, it is time for public comment. If anybody has anything to say, I'm guessing not.
I would like to say thank you to Mrs. Copeman.
Yes.
And just what a great job she's done over the years for McBain schools. I thought I could get her with my optimism and hope, but she's not staying. So, but I will greatly miss her. It's a short time we worked together. I've really grown to respect and admire her.
Been a great asset.
Board round table. Anybody has anything they would like to add to the meeting or their thoughts?
I was curious, a couple of meetings ago, you referred to the GSP program at Falmouth, that there was some potential issues there. Is that ironing out, or is that,
I have not
you
heard.
don't know?
I
Okay.
don't know. I'm hoping so. They
That's a
haven't,
building issue.
they haven't
right?
reached out again, correct. They
Okay.
haven't reached out again, so, I'm hoping they have a place for it.
Yeah.
We wanna make sure that those kids are served.
Mm-hmm.
So, if not, we will do everything we can to serve those kids.
For the trees in front of school, would we ever consider like a group wanting to donate or dedicate or a plaque in front? I'm just.
Yeah, and actually, Mr. Maloney talked to me about that with some of the classes that have graduated and left funds in their accounts
Sure.
where they would donate back and put donated by the class of such and such.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I
for
just
sure.
wondered if that was something we would
Nope,
consider.
I think that
Okay.
would be nice.
Okay.
I'd have to see if there's any board policy on that.
Okay.
Probably it'd have to be board approved. But
Okay.
just thinking back to policies.
Yeah.
Matt, you good?
I'm good, thanks.
Ken?
We're good.
Good. Karen's good?
Yep.
I'm good too. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support.
Motion and support, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.